Hello Eildon West, it's Roddy Graham here, your Inspire Cluster lead with your latest Inspire Q&A video. This is video 3, and again, like videos 1 and 2, you're going to be given 3 different questions with answers and some examples of how you can use your iPad to improve and enhance teaching and learning. If you've missed any of the other videos, have a little look on the YouTube channel because they are there for you to view, and if you go and have a look in the description of each video, you can find the little timestamp that will take you to the exact point where that part of the video begins. On this week's video, the things that we're going to be having a little look at are sharing learning intentions and success criteria across a document. We're going to be looking at some different apps and tools on the iPad that you can use for teaching IDL topics, and a little explore of live marking of work, which you can use during remote learning. Our first topic today is sharing learning intentions and success criteria. The question that we have is there any way that I can share learning intentions and success criteria throughout a document that is more than 1 page long? So the quickest and easiest way I can think of answering this one is to have your learning intentions and success criteria displayed is using the header and the footer tool. Now this is useful because you can add it in once. You can add maybe your learning intention in the header, your success criteria in the footer, and then all the way throughout the document that will be visible to pupils. It's something that can be done on Pages and on Word, and in the next little part of the video I'll explain how you can do it on both of those apps. So here's a little example of how to use headers and footers on Pages. If we press on just a blank template, then we'll open one of them up. What you next need to do to get into the header and footer section is you need to press the 3 dots in the menu, like so, and then go into Document Setup. Now from there, you can turn on headers and footers like so. And then what you need to do is you need to press on more options. And this is where you can edit what goes into the headers and the footers. So if we go into that just there, you can see that what we've got here is this main box that I'm changing the size of now. It is the main part of your document. The bit at the top up here where you can now see the cursor is where we can put our header, and down below is where we can put our footer. And what you can do with that is you can change the text style, you can change the layout as much as you want to, but then that means that everything in your header and your footer will remain on the document regardless of how long it is. So if it's 3 pages long, you don't need to retype in your learning intention on page 2 and 3, it will do it for you automatically. So if we just have a wee go here of putting in a learning intention, I've got one here that we are learning about the place value of numbers up to 1000, for example, okay? And then our success criteria at the bottom, what I'll do is I can put that in over a couple of lines. I can put a line space in and it puts it in there. I can explain the place value of a digit in numbers. I can read, write, and order numbers and explain our learning. I can identify numbers before and after. Okay, so there's just a wee example of learning intention success criteria. Now if you want to change the style of it, if you highlight it all like so and then press the little paintbrush at the top, this is where, just like you can always do in Pages, you can change it in whichever way you want. So there are built-in ones that are here. For example, you might want to do a head in red to make it really stand out. You then might want to come down to your success criteria, come into your wee paintbrush again, and then maybe choose a different font for it, something that's going to stand out, maybe a wee marker felt like so. And there you can see that we've got our learning intention, success criteria, and the main part of our text which we can build up. All you need to do now is press done, and you will see that that adds it in. The learning intention at the top, the success criteria is at the bottom. And what you will notice is that if I just press enter a good few times, it will add in a second page for me. And then automatically the learning intention and the success criteria goes in again. Okay, so if you were building up a task sheet that you were looking for pupils to do multiple tasks over multiple pages, this is a very easy way for them to know what the learning intention is and the success criteria and have that on the screen in one go. In the next wee clip, I'll show you how to do it on Microsoft Word. On Microsoft Word, this is the way that you do it on here. So again, I've got my blank document here. You need to go to the Insert section of Word on this one. And it's the little one with a page with a yellow banner at the top and the bottom. That's your header and footer one on Word. So if you press that, just like so, it gives you the chance to edit the header or edit the footer. So if you press Edit Header, it opens it up like so. You can pop in your learning intention in like that. We are learning to... I won't this time go into it in much detail. And then the other one, if you press it again and go edit footer, you can put your success criteria in down here. Just like so. Again, you can put in bullet points, however you want to lay it out. Again, you get the option if you highlight the text like so. You can change the font again, change the size if you want to, change the style of it as well. And again, just like on Pages, it goes on to all the pages that are in your document. So this will be there no matter how long your Word document is. Okay, so that's a couple of ways that you can do it using Pages and Word. One very quick and easy way that you can have a learning intention and the success criteria throughout a document if it's more than one page long. The next topic is apps for IDL topics. The question is, do you know of any of the Inspire apps that would be useful for IDL topics, particularly a space topic that I'm about to start with my class? Well, looking particularly at the space topic, there is a really good app in the self-service store, which is called JigSpace, and it's a very useful app to use with pupils to explore 3D virtual models. Another option for kind of wider IDL topics is to use the Book Creator app, and in that, if you're wanting to get some images, there is a very good function which is called Auto Draw, so I'll show you an example of that later on. And finally, if you're researching text, rather than sending pupils links to websites, because what can often happen is they can be a bit overloaded with information from those, is if the website is set up for reader view on Safari, you can actually download that text from the website that you'd like them to read, and it's a really easy way for them to be able to read the text that is there. So I'll go through all of those with you just now. I'll start with JigSpace, then move on to Book Creator and finish up with some reader view work. So this is our little recording all about how to use JigSpace. When you open the app up, this is what loads. I will say in advance, it does take up quite a lot of data in terms of using the internet. So make sure that when you're using it, they've got a good connection. They're quite close to their Wi-Fi hub so that they're able to use it. But it's a really, really good app for looking at different, particular scientific things with loads of different models. So I'll show you one here, which is the solar system. And I'm hoping that this will work with the screen record. So if you press on that, it tells you a little bit about what you're going to find with that, and then you can press go to start it. Now what will happen here is it will come up with retrieving knowledge. This is it downloading the information to the app. Again, this can take quite a bit of time depending on how long how good your internet connection is. So my one is it's okay, but it will take a wee while to get it on here. But once it's eventually done it, you're then asked to look for a surface, and then you're asked to place your jig. So what I'm going to do here is tap that there, and then I have the solar system in front of me. So I can see here all of the planets that are in our solar system and the sun. And as I move my iPad around, this is how you're able to see it. So I'm not actually touching the screen just now. This is me moving it around. Now the arrows to the right hand side are where you're able to move through the presentation, and it will give you some information. So you can see here, located in the Milky Way galaxy, our solar system is comprised of 8 planets and 5 dwarf planets, all rotating around our sun. And as I move the iPad up and down, this is what we see. We can see it from different angles. We can turn it around ourselves as well. So you can see it, and it looks really realistic there. Again, you keep moving through the arrows and the thing will change on here. So this time we've got some information about thermonuclear fusion, and you can see some more information there about the sun. But again, this is just me moving my iPad around and getting all this information. What you can also do with it is the pupils can do their own screen recording, so they could make their own little videos as well. And if you use the video icon that you can see there on the screen, that's one way that they're able to do it. But it's really very cool, it's very fun, it's very immersive for the pupils as well, and they can get an awful lot of detail out of it. So one for particularly science IDL topics, I would say have a little look at JigSpace. Have a little play with it yourself first before giving some instructions to pupils, but you can see very quickly there just how smart an app that is. Next thing on IDL that I'll show you is the auto draw tool on Book Creator. So I'm sure most of you will be familiar with the Book Creator app just now. If we press on new book and then choose just a portrait one like so, this could be our front cover, and we might want some space images on here. So one option that you've got for this, if you press the plus in the top right hand corner and then choose the pen tool, you're given the option where you can draw different things yourself there. So if you're just on this main one here, then you're able to draw whatever it is you want to draw all by yourself. However, if you choose the pen option here and then go to auto, what will happen is as you start to draw freehand images yourself, Book Creator will have a little built-in AI function where it tries to work out what it is you're drawing and then it gives you the chance to put in their version of that drawing. Now, I will say here that my art skills are not the finest, so it may well be that I have to draw things a couple of times for it to be seen. But for example, if I was wanting to draw a rocket, then I might start drawing it like so. And then I might put some windows onto it. And you can see that at the top, it's trying to work out what it is that I'm drawing. And my picture hasn't yet been worked out that it's a rocket. Although at the top there now, you can see in the middle that we've now got this space rocket here. So if I press on that, it replaces my image with the image of the space rocket. Okay? You can then change the colour of it in the top left-hand corner. So you might want to do a purple rocket, for example. And that will place that in to your document like so. You can then draw other things as well. So say I wanted to draw the moon, for example. I might have a circle shape in here with some little craters on it. And I can already see, look, first one there. Must be a better drawing the moon than I am at a space rocket. If I press that there, it puts in the moon shape. I can go with the different colour that I want it to be and place that wherever I want it to go. So have a little play about with it. It's quite a unique thing on Book Creator. It's something that I've not seen on any other apps, whereby you're able to draw something yourself and then it gives you the better version of it that's built into the program. Once you come out of it, you can just press the little cross. You can then also, I quite like this one too, is where you get the emojis. So again, if you wanted some space-based ones, let me see if I can find some of those. There's our planet Earth, for example. Again, what I like about this is rather than it being a text emoji, or emoji, depending on how you pronounce it, rather than it being a wee text thing that you only get the same size as your font, you can make these as big or as small as you like them to be. So again, you can have your planet really big or you can have it really small. You can press it again and we'll find some other space ones further down. I'm sure there's some more in here. There's a little planet like so. And again, you can make those that size. Just press down in the top corner and that adds it in as one single image to that front cover of your work. Okay, so auto draw and the emojis on Book Creator, very, very cool for adding in different images onto your work. So last thing on IDL topics is using the Safari app for the internet and using the reader view mode. So for example, again, continuing with our little space theme that we've had today, if we search for Apollo 11, you will obviously know how Google works and you'll get lots of different links on here with lots of different websites. So let's go into the NASA one because obviously that's a very trusted website to do with space research. But you can see there the main view of this is this lots of different things on it, okay? There's lots of text, there's lots of links, there's lots of distractions for pupils that they could be pressing on. But if you were just wanting the main text of this, a lot of websites have built in via Safari what's called a reader view. Now to find that, if you go into the top left-hand corner where it says those two capital A's, one lower, one bigger, if you click on that, one of the options is for show reader view. And when you click that, this is now what happens with the website. The main body of the text is exactly the same as it was previously, but all of the distractions are gone. What you can also do with this is you can change the font. So you can change the font of the text to make it look in different styles, depending on which style you want to send to your pupils. You can also change the background of it so that it's different colours. You can have dark, you can have light, you can go wherever you want. But what I really like about this is the fact that you can then send that not as a website link, but as an actual file to your pupils. If you click the share button in the top right hand corner and then go to options and send as reader PDF, what you can do in this is save to files. You can choose where you want to save it. If I just want to put it into my iPad and I can just call it Apollo 11 Mission Overview, press save. I come out of there into files and what I now have in my files, in my recents, is my Apollo 11 mission overview, and that is there as now a PDF file. So they no longer have to go onto the website, they now have it as a document that they can then annotate. So if they want to come in and use the pen tools, they can highlight information on here. Oh, I'll need to just change that to draw with my finger because I have it set up for my pencil. But again, I can start to highlight key information on there, and I have that as a working document. So it really changes it from a website view, which looks like this, to more of a document view like so. And again, it's very easy there to save it as a PDF and then send it on to your pupils. So reader view can be really, really handy. Not every website does it, but I'd say the majority of the ones that you find at the top of Google searches will have the reader view option. And finally today we come to a question all about live marking during remote learning. The question is, I often do live marking of pupils' work to show good examples and to give next steps. Is there a way that I can do this during remote learning? So the quickest way to do this, to annotate some work and send it back to pupils, I think, is via screen recording. Now I've put the word live there in quotation marks because you yourself will do it live, but your pupils will be able to view it on demand. If you do it this way, then you can talk your class through an example and you can pinpoint the parts to the class that is really good and the bits that could be improved as well. It's very handy if you've got an iPad pencil or stylus to use this, but it can be done with just your finger as well. So I'll show you an example just now of how you can do that. So this is a little example of how you can use some live marking to share with pupils. It's not really live because you're not actually doing it in real time, but you are then going to be able to share this with pupils so that they can see your markings as you go through and talk through the work. So for example, if you've got a document like a PDF file, you're given the option in files to use the markup tool, so you can then mark up the work as you're going. But because you're using the screen record with audio on it, you can then really go into detail with your voice as to why things are the way that they are. So you're not just sending them the work marked with ticks and crosses or anything else that you've got there, you're actually talking to them and explaining it. So if you're wanting to get the screen record, you'll know from the control center, I think we've been through this before, this one that's flashing just now means that I am currently screen recording right now, and that means that this is in live time. If you choose photos and then make sure your microphone is on, that will also make sure that the audio is recorded so that that is heard. And all you need to do is press that button, wait for the countdown. You'll see the little red mark in the top right hand corner, and that means that you are recording. So now if I go through this, I can say that, for example, question 6, this pupil that has sent me this work back, 2 times 8 is 16. That is correct because it is double of 8. 4 times 8 is 32 is also correct. And so are the rest of these. But what you can do is, it's often more helpful when things go wrong. You can see in this bottom example of number 7, Amir takes 7 jumps of 8 on a number line, and you can see that this pupil has filled in this one correctly and has done that superbly. But the one below, the pupil has got a little bit wrong. This time Amir makes 7 jumps of 8 but starts from 1, and what they've done is they've done jumps off 1. So what you can do in this is you can actually talk them through what they should have been doing. So I'll make it a bit bigger so that I'm able to make my writing clearer. I can say that in this example, Amir makes 7 jumps of 8, so they're still making a jump every time of adding 8 on to the previous number. And because you're live marking this up, you can then go through that with the pupils so they know exactly what is happening. So then you can say the first jump would actually be 1 plus 8, which would have given you a number 9. And then continuing it on by adding the jumps each time. And then you can make the link back to the previous one, that previously when they added 7 jumps of 8 from 0, they were landing on 8, 16, 24. Whereas in this one, it's 1 more than the previous answer. So we've got 25, we've got 33, we've got 41, 49, and 57. And therefore the number that Amir ends on would be 57 rather than just 7. And I think it's a really good way of using it with a screen record rather than just marking it up yourself and then sending it back, because this way you can give them the commentary that shows them why they made the wrong mistakes that they did. Okay, so you can do this for a whole multitude of things. You can use PDFs, you can use Pages, Word, basically whatever work you get back from pupils. Photos is another way that you can do it very easily. You can give them that commentary if you're doing it as a screen recording whilst you're marking things up. And that's the end of this week's Inspire Q&A video. I'm hoping that you found some of the tools and resources handy today, and they'll help you in your practice. If you do have any questions that you would like answered in future videos, please send me an email. My email address is gw12grahamroddy3@glow.sch.uk. We'll have a new video out for you next Friday, and it'll have another 3 topics at least for us to go through. If you have a YouTube account or a Google account, then you can subscribe to the channel, and that makes sure that you get the new videos before everyone else. If you don't subscribe, then you'll get an email link with the YouTube video on that way. So I've been Roddy Graham from Tweedbank Primary School. Thank you very much for watching. Please get in touch if you need any support or some help, and I'll speak to you all again soon.